The Flame in the Flood is a game that I need to grab my controller. Is a game that I backed. I kickstarted quite a while ago. Kickstarter. For those of you who don't know, Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform where all sorts of projects can be backed. There's anything from children's books to quirky inventions to video games or board games. In my case, I had backed my first Kickstarter 8 years ago. I've backed other projects since then. Most were kind of mediocre, I would say. However, I want to tell you about my first Kickstarter because I think by far it's the best one that I've ever done, period. And I don't think everybody can say that because it's pretty hit and miss for Kickstarter. The Flame in the Flood was a game that I came across all the way back in 2014. This game had just the most unique charm to it, and in a way that I can't really describe, or couldn't at the time at least. I don't have much to say about the whole Kickstarter process. The developers were really good about, sending things out, getting things done on time, and the whole process was just very smooth, which is, again, to say that this is a unique scenario. This doesn't always happen. I mean, these days, I don't really know what it's like to back a project on Kickstarter. It's probably a better space than it used to be. There is a lot more, scammy projects out there. But in my case, these developers were on the ball. Everything went well as far as I could tell. I mean, it was 8 years ago. And the tier that I had pledged for was $50. A pretty trivial sum at the time, I would say. But still, $50 is $50. And I got so much for it. I got the game, obviously, early release. And I also got a postcard in the mail that was signed by some of the development team. Not only that, but I also got a digital download of the game's album, which was done by Chuck Reagan, and let me tell you, this guy is talented. I love the music and still listen to the album to this day. But now on Spotify, I have the digital download kicking around, but I don't think I can play it here on YouTube, unfortunately. However, the game does have an instrumental version for various points in the game and for the various tracks. Just to be careful, I'm not going to play it here, although you guys should definitely go check it out on Spotify. It's The Flame in the Flood, and I think if you like more rustic sounding music, you will not be disappointed. I also got in-game stuff like an exclusive raft and some costume exclusives, so those are cool too. It's exclusive to backers, so I can wear that with a badge of honor. Let's talk about the game though. The game is an isometric roguelike. You play Scout, and her dog, what is Scout's dog's name? I don't know. Flame in the Flood. Is there a wiki for this bad boy? Alright, the cast. Aesop. Yeah, I always know he had a weird name. So the dog's name is Aesop. The setting of this world is post a cataclysmic event, I have to assume, and the entire environment has been flooded. So you use a trusty raft to get around to various areas. There is all sorts. There's sometimes more sparsely inhabited areas and some that had buildings at one point. For instance, a church or perhaps a convenience store. But everything has been taken over by time and nature. So the environment is just beautiful. There's lush trees, a lot of different fauna and flora, and the game theme is both in story and mechanically about survival in these conditions. Your goal is essentially to survive and get to your final destination, which I won't spoil here, but it is a pretty incredible game for what we got back in 2014. I personally think that the game design here is immaculate. It's great. I think that it is a fun design. The mechanics and the ways you survive are interesting, and I feel like it really was one of the pioneers of this sort of style of survival game. There is a hydration meter, a sleep meter, and a warmth meter. There are different conditions that will perhaps impact one or several of these meters, and there's different wildlife that you'll encounter that will also impact these meters and can cause catastrophic damage to the player's body, as there are snakes, bears, boars, wolves, all sorts of fun stuff out there, and they're all trying to kill you. No, no, no! Oh, another laceration. Oh, we fucked. We done fucked. Shit, I didn't want double swipe. Oh! Oh. No, bad. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, man, that was close. Oh, hello. Please, no. Please, please. I do not want to fight you. Get killed by the snakes for all I care. Come on, board, do it. I dare you. My snake friends will protect me. Ah. Oh! Hey, bro! No, why is it glitched? Why is it glitched? Hey, man. Let me just build this right here. I'm just gonna build this fire right here. Could you stay away, please? I'm gonna sit, just chill for a second. This fucking bear. It's a great time, honestly, and I can't say enough about this game. It's been a long time since I played it, and I've been just thinking about this game nonstop, so I wanted to make a video about it and just let you guys know that this game is obviously still out there. You can find it on Steam. It's fantastic. I think that for what you get, the gameplay will last, I would say, probably about 8 hours. And for that, I think it was a great price. At the time, maybe $50 was a bit steep, but also you have to understand that these people were trying to get something back and, you know, funded by Joe Schmo, just me. I'm just a guy off the street, right? So I think that for what I got, I'm very satisfied. And you know what? As a survival game, there is 2 modes that you can play. There's a campaign, which I think it took them about a year to flesh out completely. You could only get to a certain point. But there was also an endless mode where you could constantly play the game, and it was a lot of fun, I think, for a lot of people. I personally preferred the campaign, so I had to wait a little bit to play the game in full, but it's still like an awesome little world to be in. I should also mention the crafting system is really robust. You get all sorts of pelts and things from the environment to upgrade your raft or upgrade your clothing, and it's just really, really fleshed out. They thought of everything, and from like a survivalist aspect, I think this game does a good job of teaching you what you would have to do in order to survive in an environment like this. Obviously, it's not as accurate as it would be in real life, but I think that the creators of this game really, really took the time to consider all the different aspects of, you know, how would this person heal their wounds? What kind of components would go into an item that you'd have to craft in order to make that healing process happen. So all in all, I feel the passion and the thoroughness that went into this project was great. It is a bit sad to know that like the project that I back next, which will be a game that I won't mention, but it really soured my outlook on Kickstarter. And that's really unfortunate because I know there's a lot of great projects out there. I would soon back a few other projects, but at this point in my life, over the course of 8 years, I've only ever backed 5 projects in total, and 2 of those projects were actually in the last year. So only recently I got back into Kickstarter, and you know, I think I'm going to stray away from video games still. Board games and, you know, illustrative art books are great. I'm not trying to promote anything here, but I think it's worth mentioning the last 2 projects I've backed, which are Guinea Pig Parkour. If you don't know about it, it's a really cool game. I suggest looking it up. And also Frog in the Fall, which is a illustrated comic, and it is beautiful. It should be sent out in the next month here, so I will show it on stream. But I think that I'm back on the Kickstarter wagon, baby. I'm still going to look out for projects like this. I know since Kickstarter's inception, there have been a lot more sort of copycats or similar platforms that were created for projects like this, especially around the board game, you know, world. I think the development process for board games is great, and I think that everybody out there, if you like board games, Kickstarter and like platforms are the place for you. I think you'll get supreme bang for your buck if you go out and support board games. And I'm a bit of a board game enthusiast, a little bit of a collector, if you will. So I'm just trying to tip you off to some cool stuff. Also, I think that books and, illustrative sort of things like comics are also, like the projects that you should be looking for. But just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the Flame in the Flood and my first Kickstarter experience. It was awesome, honestly. And I look back very fondly on this, and I still have the postcard, as you will see in this video. And yeah, again, I listened to Chuck Ragan's album for this game still to this day. So everything about the game and, the sort of peripherals that came with backing this project were awesome. Needless to say, I think everybody has or has heard of some poor experiences with Kickstarter. And I'm just really happy to say that my first experience could be so great that I still value it to this day. Anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate you joining me here today. And as always, I will see you next time. Here is a little bonus at the end of the video for all of you who stuck around until the end. Back when my YouTube channel was just starting out, The Flame in the Flood is one of the first games I ever played, and here is the outro I used to have on the channel. So it's a little bit of a throwback, just a nice little treat at the end of this video. I had a lot of fun making it, so thank you for watching.